Okay, good morning. Let me just set something up here. Everybody who's there, oh yeah, here we go. Start stream on locals. Yes, and let me click this over. Good morning. Let me just turn that off. And Jesse, I hope you're here. And let me know, I'm just giving you a couple of seconds to move some windows around here. For everybody who's watching. Oh, wait. So you can limit. Okay, I have a switch here in locals. I want to switch that, and it doesn't go. Oh, whatever. I don't really care. That's not so. That's not so important. All right. Enable it now. All right. Perfect. Okay, so the locals part is working. The Jesse, if you could, I'm just going to go over to the main stream software. Let me know if it's working. Oh, I guess the only issue is that the multi-stream text isn't going to pop up on the. Okay, so let me go here. Let me see if that does it. I'm going to go over to. Okay, so all three platforms right now, I think. Are they working or you can't see me? Let me guess. You can't see me again because of the software, which is, one second, let's go here. MacBook cam, that's fine. Let me know, I went to Rumble and I saw a black screen. Oh, okay, here we go. So it's working on Rumble as well. If you can, Jesse, post a comment on Rumble and let's see if it pops up, because it doesn't pop up in. Oh, you know what? I can do that myself. I can go over to test and let's see if it pops up in the stream. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the second Miami test. The first one didn't go so well, so I think we got things a little better organized. Let me know if you can't hear me. You should be able to. One second. Yeah, okay. So the audio's going through, the video's working, and let me see what else is happening here. Jesse. Okay, cool. Thank you. That's awesome. And all right, here we go. I can see you all. Jesse, good morning. Bridget, hey, we're back to sign language. What do you mean? Volume is almost inaudible. Okay, one second. Let me see what the problem is here. You know, you'd think if you, hold on, let me just put audio. Okay, microphone, that's that. I don't need a second device. Third device, desktop audio device, fine, disabled. All right. I have the volume all the way up, like as high up as possible. And I think, let me just see, you device templates, tracks, condensed microphone, whatever. Okay, let me know if you can, if it works. Yeah, that's weird. Hold on. This slider down. That works. You really can't hear me? USB condensed microphone. You know, I don't understand. I have, every time I set things up the same way, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I can understand what Matt and Blonde go through now, because he told me about some of these. Some of these issues are a little bit. What if I go to this profile? Is that any better? No, I don't think it is. Okay, let me see. Let me check your comments. Ben, you're thinking face looks pain. Well, got you on Rumble and still low volume. What the hell's, you know, it's all the way up. I don't understand what to, hold on one second. Let me just try here. Let's go through here. We're on the audio microphone, the default. What if I go here? No, that's not going to work. That's going to turn the volume off. So now we're going to go with that. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I have, oh wait, maybe I can, wait, I have an idea. Let's see if, We go to sound input. How about that? Is that much better? I think that's better. Let's see. Go make sure it's on the audio. All right, give me a signal in the chat. Let me just find the chat. Let me know if that's any better. Short to let it all out. Good morning, Bridget, and good morning, Megan. Good morning, everybody. Let me just, and let me go over to the, all right, so I think, what is going on here? That's, okay, time remain, all right, so locals is working, and I just need to get confirmation from you guys that you can hear me. You need a megaphone. I need a microphone. You're such smart asses. I love you. You're the best. It should be loud. Yeah, I can see now that it's going across, and that was just the input volume, but slightly, but much better. Okay, well, I guess that's as good as it's going to get, and let me turn on the audio. Let's see. Let me go here. 1 second. I got to test also the audio stream this morning. So I wanted to say again, like last time, hello from Miami. Well, actually, I'm just north of Miami. I got back from Miami last night. I'm about an hour north, and the weather is absolutely beautiful. And by the way, good morning to Rocky, if I forgot to mention it. That voice is better. Speak up. Oh, you know what the issue is, Bridget? It's because I don't have the external mic that I normally would have. So I'm using just the device, the mic that's in the device right now. That's why it's not going to be the same quality as when I'm in Toronto, unless I go get a condensed mic, which I'm probably not going to do. Give me 1 second. You missed me, didn't you? It gets really boring when the guy who's supposed to be on the stream is not on the stream. I know that. Okay, so this is the second test from Miami, or like I said, north of Miami. The weather's beautiful. I hear it's been a little bit cold back in Canada, and I'm sorry to hear that, but things have been wonderful here. And, you know, maybe that's why I saw the issue that I want to talk about today very quickly. This is going to be pretty short until I get all this streaming stuff sorted out properly. You know, I landed here. How to go into this? I've been here about a week or so. I got here a couple of days before the Bitcoin conference, which I'm going to talk about in my next stream. I'm not going to get into details because I only have a few minutes here today. And that's not a plug for Flanagan's, by the way. And I experienced such a positive vibe at the Bitcoin conference like never before. I hope some of you have seen the RFK speech and Vivek Ramaswamy, both who are running in primaries for President of the United States. The RFK speech was packed. It was standing room only, although I could tell there were lots of people who were activists for the Democratic Party there that were trying to fill it up a little bit, which is okay. That happens frequently. But the vibe here has been so positive, like I've never seen before. You know, I always criticized in the past, Florida, South Florida, is always it's always been somewhat, I don't want to say negative, and I never understood it, but people here always tended to be not quite so happy, despite the fact that they live in relative paradise. They live in the tropics. It's beautiful every day, and I mean, from my perspective, some people complain the heat, and I love it. It's absolutely gorgeous. But I know, Jesse, you don't like the heat. I know. But it's been very interesting to see this switchover of what's occurred, because historically, like, the positive vibe was always more the Canadian thing, and I would come down here and you'd see how people tend to be more aggressive. They tend to be more negative, very lonely. If you live on Miami Beach, it tended to be a pretty lonely place, at least from my experience. But something has changed here. It was really interesting, and maybe it's just my lens of being at the Bitcoin conference. People were super positive. People were awesome. They were so excited to see each other, and I think I know why. This is the first time I've been to a Bitcoin conference after Twitter Spaces became popular. So if you step back, Twitter Spaces is a relatively new phenomenon. I think the biggest, or the first real big issue that was talked about on Twitter Spaces was the Freedom Convoy, because they were released around the same time. There was Clubhouse, but Clubhouse had, restrictive onboarding process and all that sort of stuff. But once Twitter Spaces came up, right around the time of the convoy, it just it became this new dynamic. It feels like chat rooms on the internet from, I don't know, from the mid 1990s, and that's what Twitter, and just everything came right at the same time. And what was really interesting this year at the Bitcoin conference, this seemed to be like the time where all of these people have gotten to know each other online for a year, and there were a number of them who I've gotten to know by going on stage in various spaces and different groups that I interact with in the Bitcoin world. And we showed up in Miami, and all of a sudden, this year and a bit that we've been talking to each other, we finally got to meet each other face to face, and everybody was so excited to finally, we get to know each other by our avatars and our icons, and that's not the most personal way to get to know people. But it was really interesting to see the vibe of people, this sense of excitement and relief that they get to know people, that they're actually real people, and it was great. It was an amazing experience. Topped off by whether you agree with RFK's politics or not, and there's some we all do, and there's a lot we all really don't, but giving a speech in that hall where he talked about the Freedom Convoy for like the first, I don't know, third of his speech, as the Freedom Convoy was the thing that made him realize that Bitcoin is what's going to give freedom to people. It was really surreal, and to be in that room, and I was just standing at the back of the room with a couple of people watching, and to hear him talk about us was absolutely amazing, and it felt like I was witnessing a part of history. So I encourage all of you to go watch that speech, and if I figure out this streaming thing, I'm going to I will include it in an upcoming stream. That's why I want to get this software set up properly, because there's a bunch of things like that's gone on this week. This is really amazing. So the whole experience here has been nothing but positivity and love and historic. I found out that, well, I shouldn't say that, that's private, but a lot of charitable stuff that people have been doing to help others and to help other small businesses. And it just became this amazing coming together experience in Miami, which is, anybody who knows me long knows, it's my favorite city. I absolutely love Miami and Medellin are in tie for my first favorite places. So here we are. We've gone from Miami, my experience being people being somewhat negative and a little bit sad and a little bit lonely, to now it's an experience where not only in Bitcoin it's become this positive experience for all of us, but as we all know, Governor DeSantis has been really pro freedom. He banned CBDCs. He's done all of these good things in terms of pushing back against the woke mob that are trying to harass people. So the vibe just in general is really, really great, really, really positive. I'll look at your comments in a second. Jesse and Bridget, you guys are hysterical. So the conference ended. It was a few days long and a bunch of parties. I'm meeting up with a bunch of people, and it was really good. Still have some more people I got to meet up with this week who will be hanging around for another few days. But after the conference, I finally had a little bit of spare time. I came home, and it was late at night. I opened my phone, and I opened Twitter just to see if there's any messages to catch up. And there were a couple of Twitter spaces. Again, that's where the positive vibe for Miami and Bitcoin in my experience started. There were some Twitter spaces that were happening from Canada. And so I went into a couple of them. And I gotta tell you, what a change of the dynamic. Where, again, it was always that Canada was more the positive place, and what's it called? And Miami was a little bit more negative. And now they flipped 180 degrees. And it's really kind of sad and weird. I'm looking for something I wanted to show you guys. Yeah, I'll show you this after. I went into the Canadian rooms. There were a couple of them. And of course, people were talking about politics because that's what everybody talks about on there. And everyone was deflated and quite sad, and I would even argue miserable. And what are we going to do to change things? And then there was one room they were talking about political parties and how are we going to get the political parties to represent us. And it's like, first thing, I think we need to just dial back from expecting anybody to do stuff for us. This is why I always push politically, because I know they're not going to do anything for any of us because it's all been corporatized. That's why we need to push, and we push with positivity. But they were talking about the legacy political class and all these parties. It's just like, I don't know. It was a little bit sad. And I'm going to continue trying to focus on some of the positivity here and positive strategies that we can use to try to help fix things further, because I think that's important. But at the same time, we all need to get our own personal frame properly and not let the externalities of politics govern our emotional state. It's just politics. It is what it is. And there are strategic ways we can push back. People have to learn what proxies are and how many people are being pushed into different voting blocks and voting groups, and you're all being manipulated, often by people who you think are on your side. This is what I've been trying to expose since the Freedom Convoy. That's what I asked many, many months ago when I started, when I said, who sabotaged the Freedom Convoy? And people asked me, what, are you crazy? What do you mean we were sabotaged? And I kind of laid everybody down the path to show that there's no, it's not blue versus red versus orange, whatever. It's the corporatized political class versus the overwhelming majority of us. Overwhelming. And I think that's a position of strength that people need to understand. Jesse says, well, I'd come home from Florida looking like Einstein. Okay, I guess your hair gets frizzy. Hate lizards. They're not lizards, they're geckos. They're very cute, they're very short. They're only like, 3 inches long. All they do is eat mosquitoes and bugs and that, and that's it. And they change colors. They're so friendly looking. They're not like, yeah, I guess there's bigger lizards too, but they too are just, they just eat vegetables and bugs. Yes, Jesse, I get that. I understand. I was using my Bridget says, you're not wrong. I was using my trips to the US. That saved me during COVID. Yeah, the same way as I did. Right? There's always a different perspective and vibe of people here. And I think we're all being we're being too, I don't want to use the word obsessed, but we're being too focused on a corporatized political class. And everybody feels like they have to align with a team, like it's politics as sport. That's not the way it is. These are people. These are the elected representatives are servants. They serve you. Now they've been co-opted by these lobbyists / corporate entities. That's what we have to break through. And there are people within the political class who want to do that. But don't let it get to the best of you. Like, we'll fix it. It's going to take time. That's why everything that's... People think the Freedom Convoy is behind us. It's not. Whoa, it's not behind us. Especially with what's coming down the pipeline. There's a lot more about to become front and center again, especially in Canada. But in order to address that stuff, we all got to be positive first and realize all the good things that we have. That's why I've mentioned many times on the stream, the 5-minute journal. I love it when you start your days, especially the gloomy days. What are 3 things that you're most grateful for in your life? Just to kind of reset yourself and just to get yourself thinking about all the good things in our lives. We have to do that and focus on things like gratitude. And then what the political class does and how they operate, A, it becomes less threatening, and B, you become less consumed by it. And when you're not consumed by it, you're not emotional by it, then we're able to address the issues. So I can see a lot of what's going on in Canada. I see a number of proxies, a number of people. Sometimes people are proxies for the political class and they don't even understand it, that they're being used to move voter blocks around. They call us the freedom people, the convoy people, they call us the crazies, as Marco Mendicino did. That's why they want to put us with what they perceive as other crazies. Like, they're really a bunch of dirtbag snobs. They really are. But that's how they view us. That's okay. That's fine. I always like to say what people think of me is none of my business. And it's the same thing for them. But if we focus on being positive in our life right now and the things we have, then we'll be able to fight this over the future. And that's what I learned here in Miami with Bitcoin, because the people that make up the Bitcoin space, they're focused on the Federal Reserve and inflation as theft, stealing 2 to 3%, or now 10% of your purchasing power every year. Like, that's their fight. And the fact that this whole conference, it was, I guess, a little bit more, I think it was a little bit more negative last year than it was this year. This year was super positive. And that's why I know they're going to be able to progress with what they're trying to achieve, right? Which is freedom, self-sovereignty, those who know I am Bitcoiners. Okay, so anyways, my message to all of you who I love, Canadians, let's step away from the negativity. I'm going to do my best here. I will continue streaming and focusing on that and getting us all reset to a positive space where we can address some of these issues. And let's not be so consumed by what public servants, our servants, are doing when they're not doing their jobs, right? Megan says, chickens are dinosaurs, kind of. Okay, yeah, well, that's kind of true, right? I bet human is yummy to gator too. Maybe, I don't know. I've never seen an alligator in all the time I've been in Florida. And I tell people I've basically kind of grown up both in Canada and here, and going back here most of my life. I've all that time I've never seen a gator. Now I've not gone out to seek them, but I've never seen one. Okay, so I want to test something with those of you who are here because I'm going to leave in a couple of minutes. But I want to test something on Bitcoin that I know has been a challenge for a lot of you. And I posted a tweet about this. This is our heroes at Nunchuck. So what is the heroes at Nunchuck? Nunchuck is a company that produces a wallet that was being used during the Freedom Convoy. It's an application where you set up wallets in the application. And it's what's called a multi-sig wallet, which is what was being done. A multi-sig wallet is like it's like a bank account with multiple signatures to give it for authorization purposes, right? And there's a whole bunch of reasons. Let's say it's a family thing, an estate, or a legal stuff. A multi-sig wallet would be great, or a company, whatever. So BTC Sessions, who is Canadian as well, he's Mr. Bitcoin Tutorial. And I've been watching him for, looks like 7 or 8 years now. And Ben and I become friends. Saw him here at one of the parties, and he came up to me and said, "Hey, I got a gift for you." And he hands me a gift. Now, I'm going to explain it in a very different way so you understand what it is. Okay. So much of the criticism around Bitcoin from people of generations who might not be as or people who are not as technically inclined is they look at Bitcoin. They're like, I can't touch it. I can touch money. Now, I don't know when the last time any of you held any dollar bills. I don't think I even paid with anything utilizing, well, all of COVID I didn't, right? Because all these companies, like I've explained many times, I did not sit in my house and lock myself down. I was out every day. Home and don't play that. That's why I was down in the US, right? But even in Canada, when I would go out every morning, I'd go for coffee and grab coffee at the local coffee shop and go down. All right. So, but all of that time, I never once used any dollars, dollar bills, or change or whatever. Okay, change, which is always the bane of my existence. So why do people have this concept that they can touch money if you're not touching any dollar bills? Well, what do? We touch this, right? We touch a card. And we say that this card, this represents tangible money. I think we all agree, and let me know if you agree in the chat. So we've switched over from dollar bills over to cards, that this physical, tangible card represents money. Okay? I mean, I hope you're all here on this with me. This is very, very important. Okay? So with this card, and we all have bank cards like this, debit, Visa cards, whatever, this card represents money. This is our money. I can touch it, I'm feeling it, I'm holding it. This is my money that I'm transacting with. And increasingly, you know, I use Apple Pay quite a lot, so increasingly my phone. But let's assume you're not one of those. You're using a card or dollar bills. But for most of us, especially during COVID, we were only using cards. Okay. All right? This is a card. This is fiat money on a card. What's this? It's a card. Just like, here, let me get this. This is a card, and then remember Nunchuck? They're the guys at Nunchuck. This is a card, just like this is a card, but there's a difference. This, the green one, uses a bank, and that bank holds fiat currency. Okay? So that holds my Canadian dollars and whatever. Okay? That's the bank. This is Bitcoin, and Nunchuck is the wallet. So the fact that the TD, I'll slow down. So TD Bank uses the bank account for fiat. Nunchuck uses a Bitcoin account, which we call a wallet, but let's call it a Bitcoin account right now, on Nunchuck. Does that that explain things, and I'm going to go one deviation further. Now, TD Bank here, they'll take all of your, it's now digital fiat money, and they'll put it into a centralized computer database that TD Bank uses, okay? Nunchuck will take your Bitcoin account or your Satoshis that you hold, so dollars, Satoshis, and they will put it on the Bitcoin block exchange. The Bitcoin blockchain. So instead of this being one central computer in a bank office or a series of centralized computers that the bank controls, this is your Bitcoin on thousands of computers around the world that verify it. That's why this can get hacked and this can't. Does that analogy help? Let me know, because I'm gonna expand on this moving forward, because I'm trying to figure out a way that we can understand that both these things are tangible. I'm touching my Bitcoin right now, and I'm touching my fiat right now. And I think this is why this is such a significant jump now that we have these NFC cards for Bitcoin that Nunchuck has. Let me go to your chat and let me give your comments, see what you say. Okay, cash. I use cash after the Convoy. I take my card and get cash back. That way they track me. They think I bought groceries and whatever. Somewhat. I barely went home. I never entered the. Okay, I get all of that. But I'm trying to test an analogy here to see if this resonates. And if it helps better understand and accept Bitcoin for what it is. Does this at least help explain, like, Jesse, if you could take, let's assume you had some Bitcoin in a Bitcoin account. If you could do the same thing with a Bitcoin ATM, go to an account, tap your phone, which is what this is for, and then convert your Bitcoin into dollars like cash, like in an ATM, so you could then spend it. Would that help you understand it better? Like, would that be a better analogy? Anyways, but how do you use the card to buy things? Don't worry about how. I'll get into that in another lesson. That's. But I just want to get over to explain that the tangibility of dollars, or the tangibility of money is artificial. It's a card for most people now. Not everybody, of course, but it's just a plastic card. And the tangibility of Bitcoin, also a plastic card, right? Megan says, so can you pay for anything with the Nunchuck card? Not yet, but we're getting there, right? So the card doesn't actually do the transaction. I'm going to explain that. I just want to get over this hump of just tangibility. Does that make sense? That this card I'm touching is a Bitcoin account, otherwise known as a wallet, and this is a fiat account with a bank. This is centralized on a bank server. This is distributed on computers around the world that no individual entity or government controls, which is why they can't ban it. Yes, I'll be all over. That's what I want. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, good. So we're going to end the lesson there on these two things, that fiat money uses your debit Visa card. Bitcoin uses a wallet, and in this case, we have a Nunchuck card that is used to access that wallet. And another term for a wallet is an account. Now, the Bitcoin people are going to be losing their minds now. Oh, it's not an account the same way, but I get that. But I'm just trying to do this in a way to reach people who are new to Bitcoin, because I understand the mental hurdle of getting over this, because I saw it with my parents or my parents' generation when bank machines came out, and I see a lot of the similarities right now. Email over this because I really need to know Some things I can't have details publicly, but yeah, we're going to get to this. This is just the beginning, Jesse. I'm going to talk more about this moving forward. But I want to, because I'm going to talk about this on some radio programs I get to, but I just got to figure out how to message properly around this. And you're being my my lovely guinea pig. So thank you. No, you're helping me kind of formulate my my messaging and analogies here. So anyways, and for those people who are listening, I am, as you figured out, holding a debit Visa card in my hand, and I'm holding a nunchuck card. And it is a card that authenticates my nunchuck wallet. That's what it's used for. No, Jesse, I didn't call you old. No, Jesse. No. It's the mental hurdle of, like, I know people who are younger than me who have the same mental hurdle. It has nothing to do with age. It just has to do with the degree of, and you're pretty technical actually. My parents, I mean my parents' generation, not because of their age, but because it was in the early 1980s that bank machines came out. So I'm seeing a lot of similarities in society of when ATMs were released to the market and when Bitcoin was released to the market. It's all the same arguments. It's nothing new. But thank you, and both you and Rocky are my guinea pig. I'll be very excited if Rocky understands this. Anyways, okay, so I'm gonna have to jet because I gotta head down to my friend's office right now. But the point is, I think overall, the more important thing, so you got the card thing, we'll talk about that more. The thing that's more important is that we focus on all the positive things that have gone on. And I learned so much from Bitcoin 2023 when I saw how much positivity came from people who have found each other online, have established friendships, and now they get together in face-to-face at the Bitcoin conference. That just became it was I guess the first real social conference. It was also all about socialization. It was amazing. BJ, you're kind of making me nervous with something with showing your bank card. You know how many bank cards I have? I have so many bank cards. Maybe I should have shown this. Okay, yeah, I'll because I mean this is anyways. It doesn't matter. Don't be nervous. Everything's going to be fine. I'm just trying to craft an analogy or an example for people so they can understand where we're going and that Bitcoin isn't a threat, isn't something to be afraid of, and it's far more easy to understand than you realize once you get over the philosophical hurdle. And again, Jesse, as you just mentioned here, Discord. If you're technologically advanced enough to use Discord, then this is going to be no problem for you. This will be a cinch. All right, I love you too. I love all of you as well. I got to run. It's getting a little bit late, but I'll talk to you all soon, and I'm gonna see what happens with this test that went longer than I thought it would. Thank you everybody for helping. I didn't promote any of this. I didn't post it all over the place. And if I can get this sorted over the next week, then I think this is going to help with the next phase of what I want to do with streaming. So I'm not going anywhere. I love you all, except I'm going to Miami right now. Okay, I love you all. Have an awesome day. Please be good to people. Be good to everybody in your lives and strangers as well. Because remember, your subconscious is always watching. And when you're good to people and your subconscious sees that, then you're going to feel